Hi everyone, Holly here from Artistic Cutworks. Welcome to my studio. Tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the options in the Cricut software for text. Now, this could be a very short video because there aren't a lot of options in the Cricut software for text. But what you will be able to do, you might hear the dogs barking in the background, what you will be able to do is add text to designs and do some simple things. I'll have some more techniques for you later that I'll show you in all the different softwares at another time. But I want to show you how to get to text, where the text is, what you can do, what you can't do, and tell you that if you want to do more than the Cricut software will do as far as text, you need to look elsewhere for software. The Silhouette Cameo, the Silhouette software is very powerful for text. Sure Cuts a Lot is very powerful for text. I've just been playing with Brother a little bit, but I'm thinking that it's probably not as powerful as the Cameo software. So, hi Margie. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my computer, and I'm going to show you all about text in the Cricut software. Okay, so this is the Cricut Design Space. And this is the desktop version, not the online version. And I understand they are retiring the online version, is what I heard the other day. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Now there is one thing in here that I think is pretty cool in this software. There's one thing I really do think is pretty cool, and that's the templates. And I'm just going to go right here to templates. And you see these templates, and basically what they are is a place to kind of show you where to put lettering and how to place things on items. So I think these are pretty cool, actually. There's a lot of them in here. And like, for instance, if we took this oven mitt, the templates are reference only and will not be saved with your project. So here's an oven mat that if I make the size smaller, so we can see the whole oven mat, there's a little thing down here that you can change the size. It's right here. So basically this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 inches tall. So you would want to measure your oven mitt, you know, and make sure that it's this tall. What I don't like about this is I can't resize this. What's up with that? So I'm not sure what the whole deal is with that, but you could at least have a template so you could see where to place things on those templates. So I'll have to do a little more playing with that. But back to text. To enter text, you're just going to click on this T, and your text box opens up down here on the bottom, and you can type in whatever text you like. Hi, Linda. So let's type in Happy Valentine's Day. Okay? Now I can just take my text box and put it up here. That's a little big, so I'm going to make it a little smaller. But what I want you to, well, let's go bigger again. I want you to notice that these letters aren't even close to being equally spaced. They're not even close. This is closer than this, and that's the V and the A are very far apart, while these are really clumped together. This to me is a drawback of the software, but you can work with it. You can make adjustments and make it look okay. So I'm going to use my grid, and I'm going to set the base of my lettering right on the line of the grid so that I have a base line to work with. Now what I want to do is I want to use one of the features in here, and it's called, well, we're going to use letter spacing. And I know I need to bring these closer, but I really don't want these any closer than they are. So let's just see what happens. I'm going to bring them closer, so I'm going to minimize the size, the distance between these letters. Notice how they're all getting closer together. But that's really about as far as I can go for some of these. So that being the case, there is a solution, though it's a little tedious, but there is a solution. I can go right over here to the Advanced tab, and this bar here only shows up when you have fonts on the screen, on the workspace. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to ungroup to letters. And what happens now is each of these letters is an individual little thing. And see how they split up in the film strip? Everything's split up in the film strip. So that's good and that's bad. I'm not sure how I feel about that. So I'm just going to draw a box around, well, let's do it differently. Holding my control key, I'm going to select the P and the Y, and I'll use my arrow keys on my computer, but look at that, it makes a huge jump. You don't have a lot of control over how much it's moving. So I'll hold my shift key, and I can move it fairly well with that. Now I'll take the Y and hold my shift key and move it over. That's pretty good. I wish what we had was a disperse the letters within the space, like that I could select this and say, center them equally in the space that I have. But we don't have that, so that's okay. I'm going to go over here and grab these guys, and then I'm just going to move it over a little bit. Maybe about like that. And then now I want to move my S a little bit because I don't like it being quite that far away. Okay, and then the day, we need to move day a little bit. So I was thinking, oh, okay, the arrow keys that'll be no problem, that'll be great. But they don't work as I had anticipated them to work. Let's move this one a little bit. Okay, so now we've got Happy Valentine's Day. I believe once I did that, once I broke them apart, I can't put them back together so that I can't treat them like a font anymore. So keep that in mind. I can attach them, which means now they move in one piece. We'll undo that. I can draw a box around it, and I can right-click somewhere. Well, I can't group. That's kind of silly. Okay. Well, I guess you can't group. Okay. So that's basically how you're going to move your letters around to make them fit together. Now, is that powerful? No, not really. We can unlock this, and then now we can stretch them or stretch them this way. If we lock it up, we can rotate it however you want it. So, I mean, you can do some things, you just can't do all things with it. All right, so I'm just going to make that go away, and let's try again. And let's do, and it's also slow. It's also slow, which is kind of unimpressive. If I select the font, now I can come over here and I can see all of my fonts. Now here's something that is cool in here. A lot of these are fonts that belong, to Cricut or Cricut sells. If you notice over here, there's a $4.99 fee for buying that font. Once you buy it, you own it forever. It's not like every time. Just once you buy it, you own it forever. But look up here. These are fonts that I purchased from probably Creative Fabrica, and they're showing in here because I have them installed. But here's what's cool. You can say, just show me the Cricut system fonts. So just show me what they have available to me that I can purchase. That's cool. You can say, just show me all the system fonts, the things in my system, not necessarily the Cricut stuff, but just the system fonts. That's kind of neat, or all. But over here also, you can say, show me writing fonts. So these are fonts that will translate well for your sketch pen. Like these here. These will translate really well for your sketch pen. I see these are all for pay, but let's do my fonts and writing fonts and see if we have any. Yeah, okay, there we go. Oops, no. I think I accidentally hit download. Okay, better. Okay, so we'll go back here. If I go here, I can do my fonts, all the writing fonts in my font library. So now we have all of these that are in my font library that are writing fonts or multi-layer cutting fonts. So I'm going to uncheck that. And I'm going to leave it just on my fonts because I don't like to make the mistake of possibly using a font I did not purchase for a design that I'm selling. So I like to be very careful about that. Because every font, even a font that says free, has a copyright attached to it. So you want to be very, very, very careful. All right, so let's say, let's use all system fonts. And I'm going to look for something that is a, let's use this one. So it changed Happy New Year into that fancy types font. So let's change the lettering, spacing. And what I want is I want these little serifs or these little squiggly things to touch. I want them to touch so that we can fix the fact that it's all apart and yet it's supposed to be a script font. Okay, so I'm going to come up here and say ungroup to letters because we have a little bit of work to do here. So we're going to take that and move that. You notice how I want that to touch right there? I want that to touch. And I want that to touch. Now what's going to happen is if I send this to Make It, you're going to see that it's going to cut. It's going to cut everywhere where these are overlapping. So let's send it over here to Make It. Oh, heavens. Forgot about that. You have to make sure when you send your things to Make that you attach them. I'm going to show you that in a minute. I'll finish this and then I'll show you. Okay, so now we've got everything together. Everything touches, and that's nice. So I'm going to take and select all of this. Well, let me do this. If I want these to be together and not get sliced apart, I'm just going to click Weld. And now it's one piece. It's one piece. You're not going to have any funny cutting of any kind. So let's do this. I want to show you the difference. I'm going to select everything and I'm going to click Attach. What Attach does is it keeps your design exactly the way you have it on the screen. You saw what happened when I didn't click Attach? Everything was like all over the mat. So now this should be right up in the top part of the mat, which it is, and that's beautiful. I want to see if it shows you what it's going to do. It does not. Okay, that's too bad. What happens is, if you don't weld, like I weld this over here, if you don't weld, and all the softwares do this, if you don't weld, what you end up getting is every place that this attached, like right here, where we connected these, and right here. Oh, that's weird. Okay, you're going to get it's going to cut here. So you're going to have a cutout. So the reason we weld it is so that that does not happen, okay, if that makes sense. We weld it together. It's like merging in digitizing software. So I'm going to select. I have to detach so I can weld these together. So I'm going to weld them. I'm going to weld them. Okay. Now, I can send this to the cutter, but if I want it to all cut in one line like this, I must click Attach. If I don't click it, well, let's see what happens. Let me show you what happens. Let's say Make It. Okay, and this one did okay because it's just one line of text, but a lot of times it'll throw things all over the mat and it'll be kind of weird. So that's welding, and you need to do that so that these pieces behave the way they should. You don't want a bunch of cutouts in your letters right here where you want them to kind of be together. Hopefully that makes sense. Hi, Brenda, Maria, Vicki, Birdie. Awesome. Okay, so that's spacing and welding and attaching. So now let's do something else with text, and we'll type in and we'll change our letter spacing. I put a capital in there accidentally. Okay. Okay. Over here we have, let me do this a little differently because I want to show you exactly what it's going to do. The other advanced feature that we have is when you have multiple lines of text, you now have the option for ungroup to lines. So what you get is this is all grouped, this is grouped, and this is grouped. So you can work with your lines individually, which is kind of a nice feature because a lot of times you're like, oh my gosh, okay, I got to group this, then I have to group that, and then I have to group that, and I have to group that. And it gets a little bit annoying after a while. So I'm going to just ungroup these and fix them. And let's weld. Otherwise, you'd have to type in individual words. And this is a little more convenient, I think. Now I'm welding because I want just these letters to be welded. Okay. Ungroup. Everything always comes in grouped. Okay, and weld. So now you can take these guys and put them, well, that's interesting. Not cooperating. Now we're good. Okay. You can put these guys wherever you want them. Select them all. And then we can align. Can align left, center, horizontal. Oh, we do have a distribute. Okay, cool. Align right, align top, center vertically, align bottom, and center. So what I want to do is I want to do center horizontally so they all center. And now we can do, say we put this one down here. And we wanted to utilize the space and equally space these out so we can equally distribute them vertically or horizontally. It's a nice feature to have. So Cameo software has that feature as well. But what you can't do is you can't take and play with a word. You can't take and make one side higher and one side lower and twist it and skew it and make it your own. You can't do that. This is a very, very simple text module for this software. So if you want to do that, if you want to do, I love to do sayings and I love to twist things around and, you know, make them fit me, so to say, my personality, you're not going to be able to do that here. If you like to do that, you're going to need other software. Probably Cricut Silhouette 5 or the Silhouette Cameo Business Edition. Both of them will do it. I'm just learning Cricut Silhouette. But this is a very basic. It's very basic. So just be aware. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just basic. Okay. One other thing that is pretty easy to do here is I just can't type. I'm going to pick a different font. Oh, let's see. What should we pick? This is one of my favorites. I'm going to pick this one. Amazinga. And what I'm going to do is, if it'll let me, I'm going to make it smaller. And let's change the color to red for Valentine's Day. That's nice. Okay, so now it's pretty easy to do this next thing. You have alignment tools, center, right, left. You also have a curve tool. Your curve tool, 0 is straight, and what I did find was it's very hard to get back to 0. So now if you go this way, it's going to curve up. And this way, it's going to curve down into a circle. Now that's really simple compared to what I did in the Silhouette Cameo software. This was really simple for doing that sticker thing that we talked about doing with the heart. That was so incredibly simple. I would do my circle text in this software. That's how much I like that. If we want to put a heart in there, oops, we can do that. And make virtually the same design we made in the Silhouette Cameo software in like just a couple of clicks. So easy in here, and it's nicely spaced, and it looks great, and it's awesome. So if you want to do circle text, this is your tool. That's I think is a strength of the text tool, is that curving function. There is not a whole lot of other things that you can do with just the basic text tools. That's really about it. But the one thing you want to remember is when you have text or you have any design on your screen, like this design right here, if I send this and I say make it, look what it did. It separated these two. Now if you want them to be together, you must select them and attach them. When you do that and you send it to make, it keeps it together. If you want to keep it together, you have to attach. Okay, let me say that to you again in Japanese. If you want to keep a design together exactly the way you have it on the screen, you're going to want to select it and click attach. Now you can detach it at a later date if you want to. That's not a problem. But you're going to want to attach it. Otherwise, it's going to grab it and do what it wants to do with it. Okay? Now, to save this, say I wanted to save this, because this is kind of cute, so I'll probably just save this. So I'll just go over here to save, and it's going to ask me the name. I cannot type. I always put my initials after a design that I make so that I know it's mine, and I'll say save. But where did it save it to? It saved it right here to my projects. Now here's the thing, guys. If you want to save this to an SVG, you can't. You can't. So if you are thinking you want to make designs to sell or give or do custom design work, you cannot save them out of Cricut. To me, a big drawback. But I'd have to cut it with the Cricut. So if you have a Cricut, that's not a big deal. You can save it in Cricut and you're fine. You just can't save SVGs and use them. However, let's load this back up. I'm going to say customize it. If I go right up here on the grid, come back here. If I go right up here on the grid and click, see how I click the grid once and it's got 4 divisions? Now only the inches, and now it's blank. Left click outside. At this point, you can take a screenshot and save it as a JPEG, and then bring it back in and trace it and use it. So if you make something that you really want to give to your friend down the street, you can do it. Let me show you. You need a screen capture program. There's a snipping tool in Windows. You can do this, and you can save it out to your computer. So I'm going to call this okay, and our options are BMP, GIF, JPEG, PNG, TIFF, Screenshot, and ICO. Okay, I would use JPEG and save it. Okay, so now let's do a new project. There's a new project. That's fine. We're going to replace it. Now let's upload. We'll go to Upload Image, Browse. We're in my file. I'm looking for a Valentine heart circle. Okay. It's a simple, high contrast color or transparent or monochrome background. So you're going to choose that one and go to Continue. We need to get rid of the background. So it says click on the areas of the image you want to remove. I'm going to remove all these little images, these little areas. So that it'll trace nice, and continue. We want to save it as a cut image. There it is. So now you can just select this, insert image. And right here, it says cut. So you can change the color to whatever you want. But I don't know at this point, I don't think you can do anything to it. You cannot. You can't take it apart, you can't pull it apart or ungroup it or anything like that. It's just one big happy family together. Okay? But that is a way to get around if there's something you really, really want to give to someone, your best buddy, and they have a Cameo or a Brother Scan and Cut. You can give them the JPEG of your design and they can trace it in their software. Not a great option, but it is an option. Okay? That's what I have for you for text in the Cricut software. Again, not real powerful, but it'll get the job done for simple things and to get, you know, some basic things done for you. And it does work well. I found no glitches, no issues. Everything worked as expected, as planned. So that's a good point. The program never crashed. That's a good thing. That's always a good thing when the program doesn't crash. So, you know, it just isn't powerful. Again, it's not that it's bad. It just isn't. Okay? So if you want to do text, as I said, look into the Silhouette Cameo software or Sure Cuts a Lot software and do your text and your things in there. Sure Cuts a Lot has a pretty good ramp up. I'm learning it now and it's got a pretty good ramp up. So if you're adventurous, go for it.